Disney's 1961 animated classic 101 Dalmatians is clawing its way back onto home media as one of the next titles in the Walt Disney Signature Collection. Of course, 101 Dalmatians was previously released as part of the Diamond Edition collection back in 2015 and also received a limited release Disney Movie Club reissue in late 2018. In this video, I'll take a look at all the details of all the different versions of 101 Dalmatians Signature Collection Edition releasing across the US and Canada, and when you can pick them up in store and on digital platforms. Additionally, I will briefly take a look at the specs of this release as well as the special features we can expect to find. I'll then deliver my final thoughts on the new releases and ask the age-old question, is it worth the upgrade? I will also leave Amazon affiliate links down below in the comments and the description for those who wish to purchase the movie. On your screen is the list of topics that I'll be covering in this video. If you're more interested in checking out some over others, then please feel free to skip forward via the time codes I provided down below in the comments. Otherwise, you are of course more than welcome to stick it with me for the long run. 101 Dalmatians Walt Disney Signature Collection Edition will be headed onto physical home media on the 24th of September 2019 and will be available to purchase on digital HD day and date. Dalmatians will be released to the Signature Collection as a Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital multi-screen edition, and unlike Lion King, Little Mermaid and Aladdin, will not receive a 4K release. However, I've never thought this to be the prettiest of Disney classics, so I'm kind of okay with that. I initially didn't really like the artwork Disney had gone with here, but the more I look, the more I like it. Other than a fairly clip-arty appearance, I think it's still visually appealing and simplistic. I like the watercolor splatter in the background and feel that this could have been a really nice design template for this entire collection instead of the inconsistent covers we've received so far. At any rate, this is a nicer cover than that horrible circle art cover we received for the Diamond. I'm glad to finally have a chance to own this one with a full sleeve art. Target will also offer an exclusive digibook edition of the film as a Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital set, complete with a limited edition filmmaker gallery and storybook. I don't mind this cover and actually think it could have worked as standard art too. However, it's so similar to the standard art that I don't really find myself preferring one over the other. It's actually interesting to note how it pulls in some of the same elements of the standard cover as well as of the Diamond cover. I guess this is the only piece of key art of Pongo that Disney has on file. Best Buy will also offer an exclusive steelbook of the release, again as a Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital combo pack. I'm not huge on the front cover art of this. I mean, it's not the worst, it just seems a little plain to me, and it's funny to see some of the same elements used again on the back of this one too. The one thing that I get asked about most when it comes to these signature releases is, are we getting a new transfer or the same one that was previously featured on the Diamond Edition release? The three movies that received 4K releases, Lion King, Little Mermaid and Aladdin, did in fact get new masters for their signature editions. However, those who have not been bestowed with such releases have unfortunately, so far at least, simply ported over the old transfers, such as the recent release of Cinderella. The fact that 101 Dalmatians is not getting a 4K release tells me that this disc will very likely feature the exact same transfer that has been released on Blu-ray twice already. But as I previously mentioned, I'm kind of okay with that. 101 Dalmatians was Disney's follow-up to Sleeping Beauty, an extravagant, grandiose film that infamously took the studio 8 years to complete, went grossly over budget, and then bombed at the box office. As a result, Disney almost closed their animation studio, but not before giving one more film a shot. 101 Dalmatians was that film, and in an effort to reserve funds, it was produced on a relatively modest budget and utilized a new inking technique known as Xeroxing. The Xerox technique basically meant that drawings could be printed onto cells instead of hand inked, thus cutting both funds and man hours down by close to 50%. Xeroxing would go on to be the main method of inking over the coming decades, and though it was an efficient process, its use resulted in line work that was less refined or clean, highlighted by its thick, almost smudgy lines. Animator Floyd Norman would even call the aesthetic grungy. To me, the Xerox technique never exactly gave the movies produced with it the nicest look. I've always felt that films such as 101 Dalmatians were not as attractive visually as any of the inked productions. Regardless of this, 101 isn't one of the most beautiful or most vibrant movies ever to begin with colours used sparingly in muted tones. I honestly can't imagine the movie looking much better on 4K than it already does on Blu-ray, so I'm not overly disappointed by the lack of a 4K release here. One thing I would have liked to see though is a new master with less digital noise reduction than the previous, which didn't do the film's already smudgy look any favours. That said, this brings us onto the specs. 101 Dalmatians' signature release will once again use the same 1080 transfer released on the previous two releases. Unfortunately, there will be no new audio tracks on here, instead once again utilising the old 7.1 DTS-HD master audio track. While the previous two editions also offered the original theatrical mono track, it doesn't seem to be included here as it's not mentioned on the film's cover specs. However, this could just be an oversight and might be on the disc after all. As per usual, the Signature Collection edition of 101 Dalmatians will come bundled with a handful of new bonus features. Strangely, Dalmatians wasn't issued with a traditional press release, so these features are not as detailed as usual. The newly included special features are, in Walt's words, 101 Dalmatians, Cruella de Vil, Mark Davis's last animated character, Colour and Line, the visual design of 101 Dalmatians, and the further adventures of Thunderbolt behind the scenes. It doesn't appear that there will be any digital exclusive features for this release. In recent years, Disney have not had a great track record of producing substantial new features for these reissues, often chalking them up with fluffy 2-minute featurettes and around 10 minutes worth of decent new material. This is certainly the case for the Sleeping Beauty signature, which is releasing on the same day as Dalmatians. However, 101 Dalmatians seems to offer quite a decent number of new features here. I'm guessing there's probably 20 to 30 minutes worth of new stuff here at least, not a huge selection but certainly a decent effort. That said, what about all of the previous special features made available on the Diamond Edition? How much of this makes it over to the Signature? Well, again, surprisingly, this edition manages to port over almost all of the previous edition's special features, including the half-hour-long documentary Redefining the Line and an entire episode of Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Disney series. It also goes to the effort of adding Cruella's Lost Role featurette to the disc, which was a digital exclusive on the original release. So that one is as good as new to me or anyone else without access to the previous digital copies. The only features missing here are a selection of 3 deleted and abandoned songs and a couple of reissued trailers as noted on the screen. Nice to see the vast majority of features ported over here though, which certainly hasn't always been the case with these signatures. That said, here is my final thoughts. 101 Dalmatians has never been a favourite of mine. I'm not sure if it's because of the visual design or simply because I never really connected with the story. That said, this is still an undeniable Disney classic, which arguably spawned Disney's greatest and most entertaining classic villain, and for those who don't own this, it's definitely worth adding to your collection on Blu-ray. With that, the million-dollar question is, if you already own this on Blu-ray, is it worth the upgrade? Well, this is a somewhat tricky one. While Dalmatians simply offers up what is assumedly the same old transfer and special features we all already own, it does add a nice handy selection of bonus features on here that I think any diehard fan of the film will find hard to pass up. We can look at this one 2 ways, so I'm gonna break it down. If you own the Diamond Edition and you're an avid collector, then yes, this is definitely worth the upgrade and even a worthy replacement if you're not keen on owning 2 copies in the long run. If you own the Diamond Edition and you're just a casual collector who doesn't care too much about an extra 20 to 30 minutes of bonus, then no, you can give this one an easy pass. Essentially, you already own this disc, bar some new featurettes. For a first-time buyer, however, this release is an absolute no-brainer. Not only do you get the vast majority of previous special features, but you get a bundle of new ones too. The missing deleted songs, in my opinion, aren't worth the money or hassle of getting your hands on the Diamond. Regardless, these features will likely be included on the digital to begin with. For me, at the end of the day, I'm an enormous completist and have to grab every copy of these movies that comes around. You know I'm a sucker for new special features, especially when it comes to the classic classic Walt era films, and 20 to 30 minutes for me is worth every penny. And at that, it's over to you guys. What are your thoughts on the 101 Dalmatians releases? Fire away in the comments below and let me know, will you be picking it up or throwing this one a massive bone? Once again, for those who wish to purchase the movie, I've left Amazon affiliate links down below in the comments and the description. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos and you'd like to see more like it in the future, then please don't forget to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen, as well as that like button down below for that little extra support. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.